Shit, did you?
Yeah, that felt good. All right, sorry about that, guys. Apparently, dropping a rabbit on your computer causes the power to cycle unexpectedly.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. I'm gonna have to do a some sort of a system check when we're done here to make sure I didn't screw anything up permanently. But I think I'm okay. Anyway, we were talking
Karambit
about.
tossing, you say?
Well, at least the handle's
We were
polymer.
talking about karambits, but honestly, let's straight up. Let's next it up here.
Yeah. Provoke's cool. I'm into it, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
I do like that they thinned out the ring. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Oh, no, we didn't. The interior hole for the ring is actually the same size as the full-size Provoke, but now this thickness is lessened. They made that a lot thinner. But yes, like
Brian
says,
Mooney.
right to the next thing.
Provoke trainer, look at that. You got one that won't stab you when you're playing with it.
That remains to be seen. I'm sure it'll be fine. But this is another thing we've talked about before. I'm being like, hey, why don't they make this? Apparently they thought, hey, that's pretty obvious, so they did it. Hey, you know how they have that opening hole there instead of this tab, this little shelf? They could have done that. They could have done that on the Provoke EDC. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, they did not change the handle on this at all. I guess because they're sticking with the Provoke platform, they don't really want to change the lock for guys who are already used to their old style. So that makes sense. Yeah.
What's the deal with the drippy tip?
By increasing the size of that tip, it's going to hurt a lot less when you get it jammed into your ribs. That's my guess. Making it a little bit safer. Like, you know how the Karambit trainer we have in the shop actually has that bulbous tip on the end of it instead of just coming to the polymer point? Like, I think this is the same sort of thought process.
It doesn't look thickened, though. It just looks drippy.
It does, yeah. It is a little bit of a weird thing. I kind of wish they did make it a little bit more bulbousy, but
round it.
The designer was part anteater.
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
Look at it, dude.
No,
it's a little bit aardvarky.
I see what you're talking about.
How many eyes do your aardvarks have?
12.
Oh.
Only the ones that I've bred with spiders.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's a horrifying answer. Thank you. I'm sorry if our video gets a little weird here. I'm just resizing stuff. Okay, yeah, Provoke Trainer, it's cool. They should have done it in the first place. It's $100. Alright. Anything pressing you guys want to say about it? Or
no, Telio. Squid Compact, Telio.
Squid Compact. I don't know what else to say about this thing. It's HCR. It's HCR and it's assisted, and is it on ball bearings? I don't think it is. No.
So there's this knife called a micro pocket rocket, or an MPR.
Yeah.
For short. This knife and that knife are kind of the same knife. I'm just kind of saying.
So ugly all around is what you're saying.
Hey, man, I have an MPR back here.
Yeah,
but it's a mini, not a micro, so it's much better.
It's a bigger, ugly knife.
It's the slightly better. It's not micro, it's just mini.
It's a 1.75 inches on that blade, though. That thing is... It's wee. Like, it's... small.
Is it as small as a...
Did we happen to look up a micro pocket you didn't bring a picture of?
Sorry,
the micro pocket rocket, the MPR.
Oh, no.
Just in comparison, because that's my big gripe with this knife, is in comparison to an MPR.
Oh, got a hiccup with you guys there for a sec. Yeah, I mean, the lines are pretty similar, but honestly, if you took the original Squid and shortened it down...
Hang on, Joe. Not the mini pocket rocket, the micro. The one with the flipper and the... You can see it in the pictures here.
Okay, yeah,
But yes.
that one's a lot more similar. I was gonna say, like, how much could you realistically squish a squid and have it
No.
not look like the NPR? But okay, yeah, I see it.
This knife.
Yeah.
Not my NPR, this NPR. It's
Is
not
this
a
a
mini, it's a
Siebert?
micro. It's the other M. It's lowercase m.
Is this a Siebert? Siebert?
You could say that.
Abert?
It's a Haybert.
Hey, Bert, how's it going?
Hey, Bert.
Anyway, there is very little to talk about for this knife. It's okay, but okay, I say that, but then I remember the price. 32 American.
Yeah. For
Yes,
HCR,
right.
that seems like a reasonable price.
And it's a small enough knife. It's going to be legal in most places that you can have a one-handed assisted knife. So, yeah, okay, this is a good price for this knife.
Is it as small as a McBee? Is it a two-finger grip?
Well, the McBee, as per Spyderco's website, how big is this thing overall? Overall length is 3.85 inches. The squid overall is 4.65, so it's a little bit bigger.
I win.
The McBee. Are you though? Are you winning? No, but the
I have a McBee.
No one wins.
the squid actually has a longer blade length than the McBee, though. Interesting. So now the handle length. We're getting too far into this comparison, but the they don't list the handle. Right, nobody does. Anyway, I have a feeling you might get slightly more handle length with the McBee in terms of grip area, but that may not be the case.
You're nuts.
This is actually one case where I would say that you may not be completely out to lunch putting a lanyard on this thing because there's not a lot to hold on to. If it's fisted, you might want to hold on to it.
Boo this man.
Hey, man.
Boo.
Hey, you hold your booze or I'll drop something else on my laptop and fuck up the stream.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
teach
Hold your
everyone
booze.
except for actually me.
Like this, too?
I don't know. I was pretty scared about my laptop not waking up afterwards, so that wasn't good.
Like this?
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, I'm just holding my booze.
I'm not going to drop your booze on my laptop.
No, you said hold your booze.
Oh.
I was holding my booze.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Paul. Apparently I needed that to be explained to me. While we're on the subject of compact knives, speaking of which, that is the Squid Compact. How about the Tuna Compact? Yay! Everybody loves the tuna. Everybody was freaking out about the tuna when it came out. I never understood the hype. Not that it was a bad design, but
A tuna compact is just called a small tuna.
A skipjack. They should have called it the skipjack.
That's too clever. Paul, get off our stream.
All right.
Go find a more clever stream to be on.
All right, I will do.
Not responsible for what goes on around here.
this is
Yeah.
some lowbrow shit we're supposed to be doing. It's still HCR. It's 56 American, which again, not terrible. Interestingly, they changed to an IKBS ball bearing system.
Just in
Yeah.
case.
This needs it. Give me some flicky.
That's not bad. And it's not assisted.
Yeah.
Very nice. For the record, I have 2 broken springs from CRKT's assisted knives that came out last year, so I'm super chuffed about that. So anytime I
You
see
have a
their
problem with springs.
I would say yes, but one of those springs is completely enclosed when the knife is assembled, so there's no way I could have done anything to it.
You have a problem buying CRKTs. Sorry.
I was not insinuating that you caused the problem with these ones. Just that, in general, springs are the bane of your existence.
You know what doesn't have a spring? Fixed blade.
I like fixed blades. Just make more that I can carry in my pocket. Speaking of CRKT, there's a couple. I don't know if anybody wanted to say anything else about the tuna, but anyway.
No. Next.
Yeah, the Razel Compact. You know what? We're going to talk about all 3 of them at the same time. We're going to leave the Razel Max for later, but there's the Razel Compact, the Razel, and then the Razel Chisel. The Razel Compact, I think this is the one that Paul was interested in when we last talked. I'm starting to turn on to this guy a little bit. Paul, tell us why you like it.
Hang on. There's this Razel compact thing. There's several reasons, and Paul and I have talked about this. But do you know one of the big standouts here, Joe, to this particular knife?
No, tell me.
No, you tell me. What's the standout to this particular knife for you more than anything else?
It's got serrations on the top end as opposed to have serrations on the main blade.
Okay. During this last week of releases, that conversation never came up with you and I or with Paul and yourself either.
Yeah.
So Paul and I were both like, does he know that that's not jimping? Like,
no,
he hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything to me. He hasn't said anything to me either. And it's like, yeah.
No,
you're just a knife.
The first time I picked that thing up and just plant my thumb right across the serration.
So just because you hadn't said anything to you, and Paul and I both had that conversation almost instantly when we talked about it, that we're like, okay, let's find out if he actually knows that thing. Yeah, that's not jimping. That's straight up.
Yes, those are straight up serrations.
Flat top VEF. I just want to give a quick shout out to CJLA in chat. What up?
What up? Also, Brian Mooney.
Yes, indeed.
Hi guys.
Thanks for joining us. Woo! You didn't give him us. You did? Oh,
yeah, I wooed him back a while ago.
Look at you guys wooing each other.
We were wooing.
Heavily delayed. Sorry, respond to stuff. I can't see it.
Some sweet woos going on.
So,
no, that was air escaping from the folds in his fat. Oh, I missed the drama.
All right.
I'm gonna buy 2.
What's that?
I'm gonna buy 2.
You're gonna buy 2? One to gift, one to keep?
One for me, one for a buddy. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
These are a reasonable price.
These knives are gonna be so fucking hard not to recommend to people. For many reasons. What's your favorite part about this knife, Paul?
The sheath.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay, so this thing has a Kydex sheath with a pocket clip. This is great. CRKT historically has gone from either holy fuck, this is way too much retention to Jesus Christ, how is this supposed to be a neck knife? They've had they've had both ends of the spectrum. This looks like it's actually Kydex or Bolteron or I don't know what.
Thermoplastics, I think they call it.
Yeah, but it's not injection molded. It doesn't look like it's injection molded. Usually when you see that kind of a texture, that's a molded material. If that's the case, and it is actually molded, not injection molded, there should be adequate levels of retention. And I know it sounds like, oh, should you expect that from a company? Yes, absolutely you should. But the design here is so good, and I think it's going to be so useful for so many people. They really can't fuck up with the retention on this, because carrying a fixed blade in your pocket, I don't know, it's not something a lot of people like to do. And while this does carry fairly deeply in that sheath, I would feel a lot better if it was a very positive snap, like my Cthulhu minimalist is. Like, if it's like that, then okay, cool. We're off to the races.
With how much of the handle is secured, I feel like they can't lose. But it is CRKT, so I'll keep my fingers crossed, because I want to carry this as a neck knife and a pocket carry.
Can I just say? Can I say right now? Can I be the first one to say on before SHOT Show even happens? John Graham finally figured out how to make a proper pocket clip.
It took until he passed away last year for him to figure. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, it's not on the spine of the knife, that's for sure.
Surely not. It's the right point.
Sure ain't. So, the only thing that I am a little bit uncertain with this particular model is actually one of my favorite features is the serrations. So up at the top here, you can see that they're very, very well ground in on this side. But it looks like it might be flat across the top. And that's not a problem so long as there's a bevel on the opposite side. There isn't a bevel necessarily on the opposite side. It might just be flat all the way across. So in order to utilize the serrations effectively, you may actually have to put a bevel on this top edge of this knife. that might be something you have to do.
Might just be chisel ground. It's fine.
It might be chisel ground. It's hard
I don't
to say.
actually think it's chisel ground. I think it's flat ground on the backside. Like it's almost like a Scandi grind coming up to the backside of it.
I don't know. I can see myself using each, like those individual scallops without like zipping through the top.
Fair enough. Personally, I'd rather be able to go through each serration like you would normally with like a bread knife or any other serrated knife. So if I end up with one of these and it isn't properly like sharpened like that, I'll probably sharpen. I'll just add a bevel. It's just D2, so diamond stones should probably take care of that relatively quickly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, what's the other one? Go on.
There are some other Razels. Let's look at the smaller one next. So this one is actually chisel ground, completely flat on one side, and beveled on the other. Both the sharpened edge as well as the main primary grind. This guy does come with an in-pocket sheath as well. Single position clip for all of them, I should mention. Still looks like it's Kydex. It's HCR. You're not dealing with D2.
Wait. I got another joke about the clip. I wonder if it'll fit on my. I wonder if it'll fit on my crappy Kershaw.
The spacing might actually make it work.
It's a deep carry. We're just curious about that. Might have a blur clip figured out here finally, folks.
There you go.
A blur clip? No, I think
the offset won't work. Anyway, I know. I was just being a smart ass.
That's too bad. So at first I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't they do D2 for this one? But with how small this thing is, I could see people just dumping it into the pocket and not thinking about it.
I thought you were just going to say, I can see people dumping it.
Oh, that too. But
open in their pocket.
It's HCR. It's a tough steel. The thing only weighs 2 ounces, apparently. That's not bad for a little fixie like this. HCR is going to be stupid easy to take care of, and you know what? It's only $40, so okay, not the end of the world. By the way, the last Razel we were looking at was 56.
And a real
yes, personally, I would rather get D2 as well. I'd rather sacrifice a little bit of toughness at the edge for better edge retention. This type of blade isn't something that's going to be easy to break. So, anyway,
I'm into it. I want it. Give me.
And then also.
Probably my favorite out of the 3 that we've looked at so far, and this is the one I'm most excited about, just a plain Razel. This one's going for $89.99, the most expensive out of the bunch, but you are getting, not micarta, but resin-infused fiber for the handles. You're getting the red Garolite pins as well as liners. It's a 3-inch blade, I want to say, 2.97, so damn near. This isn't chisel ground, it's V ground. Back to D2. And it still is an in-pocket carry. This looks really manageable. Paul.
It's too straight.
There was a joke I was gonna make, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Too straight.
Canceled,
you cannot have red underpants like this guy does.
I'd be that straight, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Telling you.
I mean, I have underpants of that exact color. What are you trying to say, Dennis?
I think you know exactly what he's trying to say.
That's fair.
I don't know. I honestly don't mind the straightness of it. I think it works out. I do like that there's a little bit of exposed tag here.
You weirdo.
I don't want curves. I just want, I don't know. The spine is so square, and then the front square tip, and it's just too much. I need this. The compact is better. I'm sorry. I have made my decision, and all else
if the overall profile of the knife did like a gentle, very gentle, kind of like banana shape almost, I would be okay with that to a degree, but it's not going to be as good in the pocket. Having a straight bar like this at this length is going to be better in the pocket.
Whatever you say, banana cleaver.
He doesn't want a banana in his pocket.
And I'm not happy to see you. That's the other side of that.
I do like it though. I like the red liners, red pins. The fact that they give you space for a liner or a lanyard. It's a fixed blade. It's allowed.
Yeah. I don't know how you would. Well, okay. I was gonna say I was trying to picture in my head, but I thought there was a third pin here. No, there is a lanyard hole there. Would I need a lanyard for a knife this small? Maybe not. But
It'll
I don't know.
depend for me. If I can squeeze all 4 fingers on it, we're good. If I can't, I'm gonna want to land it.
You can't.
I need somewhere to put my pinky. You know.
You're gonna put your pinky wherever you want to put your pinky.
So you got 3 3/4 inches worth of if I'm not failing at math here, because it's almost 3 inches for the blade. The overall length is 6.75, so you got roughly 3 3/4
inch
for the handle.
That should be
So
enough.
yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's a 3 3/4 inch blade. Yeah, okay, so you can get a full fist grip on it, but the problem I think is going to be these handle curves. I don't know how comfortable that's going to be in a fist, because they make some pretty strong decisions for you as far as ergonomics go. Anyway, I'm really excited about these 3. I think they're going to be great sellers, generally speaking. In particular, I'm more and more interested in the compact. Yeah, although I think the largest of the 3 is probably where I'm going to go. What about you guys? I know Paul's into the compacts, but
I like the compact. We'll see about the OG one, the one with my Carta. I'll have to take a look when they both come in, type of thing. Price point on the compact is where it's a little more enticing. The full size one gets over the $100, and you lose some people with the CRKT crowd when it gets over the $100 polar bear dollars.
Yep.
So yeah.
Sure.
Do you want to talk about the stupid big son of a bitch while we're doing it?
Yeah. So the Razel Nax is not a knife, and it's not an axe. It's an axe.
Yes, it is. It's both.
Yeah. I thought that Dennis was gonna be gung ho for this stupid fucking thing. I don't know why. But there was this idea that as soon as we saw it, I'm like, Dennis is gonna like this thing.
It seems right up his alley.
But then he said, yeah, but it's not a 1/4 inch thick. I'm like, really? What thickness is it? It's a 4.98 millimeters. Just call it 5 millimeters. Jesus.
0.2. It's not even 0.25. It's 0.2.
Yeah, so it's thick, but not that thick. For those curious, made in El Salvador. The Condor factory is making these. So that's the kind of fit and finish you can expect. Riveted handles, 1075 high carbon for the blade. They do not have a shot of this in hand, which is a shame because it's
Does it say what kind of pins?
Sorry?
Does it say what kind of pins? Oh, they're still there. The angle you had it at one point, the pins looked black.
Oh,
I thought they were
see.
phenolic resin.
Yeah, they just patched reflections weird, but if you look here, you can actually see kind of the sheen of the steel.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. If someone built this thing that was, like, even if they did this with an SK5, and they did it with that, and like it would turn me on more than the 1075 would. And
for 100 American, this is cheap enough where I think you're going to get some people picking it up because, that's weird.
It seems like a fun throwing toy.
A little bit, yeah. I don't really know. Okay, so the blade length is 4.3 inches, like 4.29 inches. So that's not exactly a very small handle. Even so, given the way it's curved, I don't really imagine many people using that forward edge for all that much, to be honest.
I want to underhand at things.
Forward edge first. Yeah. No, I'm laughing, but I agree with you 100%. That's just terrifying, though. Thanks for the answer. Have a nice day. So awesome.
Okay. I can see if you got it in one hand and using the back of, like, on the pommel of it to push it forward type of thing. I could see you doing some scraping on bark and things like that. Yeah,
I wonder if you could, like, feather stick, if you put something flat and then used it in the similar motion that you would use a stick for doing like a friction fire, like the front. I don't like that motion that I was just making.
Yeah,
but
tell us more, Paul. Tell us more.
No.
I was just gonna let that one go, but
yeah.
So
I lost all train of thought, if I'm being honest.
Oh. All right.
So yeah, next. What is
Yeah.
next? Jesus Christ.
Well, okay,
yeah,
so
we gotta go
we
back
skipped
up.
over a bunch of stuff. There's the Overland Compact. I don't really want to spend that much time on it, but it's D2.
Okay. Can you swap over to what the hell was it called? The Kaiser Contrail.
Yes, we did talk about this.
Speaking of controversy, I already said that the Squid Compact should be a micro pocket rocket budget version. But there's a knife called the Kaiser Contrail. And if you look at the Kaiser Contrail and then you look at the Overland Compact.
Yeah.
Who's the designer on both?
Not the same. Justin Lundquist and TJ Swartz.
Well, shit.
Yeah. Shit damn.
There's enough variation here. I think we can avoid a lawsuit, but there's a lot of similarities here.
And yes, CJ, definitely Con Air. Nicolas Cage, definitely doing pull-ups with a weave in his hair. It's good times.
What's happening right now?
CJ mentioned Con Air instead of Contrail because it's the Kaiser Contrail. And then I went into riffs about, Nicolas Cage.
That's fair. I understand.
Oh, Nicolas
up to speed.
Crazy man.
So I don't hate the blade profile and stuff like that, but I think that's because I want to play with a Vision from Wee Knives. And they have a similar angle.
I would also like to play with a Vision from Wee Knives.
Yeah, this is like a Vision if I
saw it in a Vision and
boardwalk caricature guy got and the Vision walked by and he's like, "Hey, draw me," and this is what it would be.
This is what came out.
Yeah.
Well, it's 59 American. It's D2. It's not on KVT. It's a stainless steel frame lock with a G10 front.
You're not on KVT.
That's okay.
It weighs 3.1 ounces. It's got a 2.24 inch blade length.
That's too many specs. We should talk about other stuff.
It's chunky and all that to say, it's chunky and small. And I think a better choice than the Squid Compact.
Yes,
for a couple of reasons, but yeah.
Would you call it spunky?
No. Next knife.
I like it more now that it's chunkier. By the way. Yeah. Anyway, next knife.
That's fair. Okay, so we got a couple from Ken Onion here. Let's start with the one that his kid made.
Oh, really? Is that where this one came from?
Yeah.
I feel bad about how much I bashed it.
So this is.
I won't say anything on live TV. Apparently,
I don't know about nepotism because I mean it's not like Ken Onion owns CRKT or anything like that. But this is a knife designed by Ken Onion Jr. A refined folder that blurs the lines between classic and modern. Basically, he was going for a Barlow, which seems to be something that a lot of knife manufacturers are doing. Really, modern interpretations of a Barlow. I don't know if that's necessarily the inspiration for this knife, but it was hard not to draw comparisons like that. Deep carry pocket clip, D2, going for $75. I mean, for being the son of Ken Onion, they're not asking an arm and a leg.
Well, it's a Ken Onion Jr.
Yeah, but still.
Junior price tag.
Liner lock instead of an inset frame lock or just straight up frame lock, which I like. Honestly, there's a lot about this profile that I like. So I want to hear why Dennis doesn't like it.
Yeah. It's very butter knife looking.
Yeah, but I like that shit, you see. Steak knife, butter knifey. Yeah.
And I can take it or leave it. Yeah, so I don't know as far as inspiration goes. And it's Ken Onion Jr., so it gives me more credibility. I thought it was Ken Onion Sr., and he really was just...
haven't given up.
Looking for ideas at the dinner table. I don't know.
It definitely does read as very conservative. But I think because of that, it is going to be more more attractive to more people. One thing that I'm glad they did was angle the the flipper tab the way they did. That should make for some pretty good engagement when you're actually going to flip it, supposing they have a good detent. Speaking of which, is this thing assisted or no?
I was gonna say,
God damn it, it's assisted. Fuck sakes. Okay, well I won't be buying one then. But that's a shame because I really like the look of this profile. And for 75 American.
Yeah, Zero Slash, if you're wondering, yes, we work in a local shop here in town.
Yeah,
cutting edge
might help. Yeah.
Cutting edge Cutlery Co. Oh, again, comment section, blah 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 type of thing. Yes.
No, I just meant context for him. That would probably
help.
Yeah.
Yes. So we thankfully get to play with all the fun stuff. We're all collectors ourselves here personally. Nothing is bought and paid for. Anything used is coming out of our own pockets. Nothing gets donated to the channel. We get to handle and give first impressions to things, and we're fortunate enough to do so for the channel. But yes, that's the back history of where this happened.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I bet you that makes one hell of a steak knife.
Yeah, it's a really straightforward profile. I think it works great for stuff like that.
Kind of reminds me of a sodbuster.
Yeah, with a gun hammer flipper.
Yeah, a little bit. But you know what? I think actually Sodbuster, as opposed to Barlow, makes a little bit more of a straight shot comparison there. Yeah.
Blade shape, anyways.
And speaking
definitely
of blade shape,
Barlow.
This is a nice touch, but actually having that tip come down just slightly right at the end, that's actually not a bad little thing to throw in. Just throwing that out there.
That's a bit of like, I want to say a bit of a Loveless thing. There's just like a little bit of a hint, a little bit of a hinty drop.
A lot of his smaller hunting blades did that, I think, right?
Yeah. Anyway, next, Mr. Senior.
So Senior came out with the Jake, which apparently is.
How dare you add the? There is no the. It is just Jake.
No, it is the Jake. It's the Endura. It's the Kershaw Blur. It is the Jake.
It has a first name. It's like Cher. You don't call her the Cher.
No, it's a young turkey. Come on, man.
Anyway, 113 American for 12C27 Sandvik. But
aluminum with G10.
Aluminum with G10, yes. I do not believe this one is assisted. IKBS. Fast opening. There's a flipper, but there's sweet in terms of a spring assist. So I actually really like the look of this, but I also like the blur, and I tend to like these types of blades. So sure, why not? It's a knife that I would like. It's a liner lock. Cool to see more liner locks as opposed to frame locks, but anyway.
It's a blur with a flipper.
Yeah, more or less.
It's not lefty. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
That is something that kind of a little bit of a piss off. These are things that are very easy to do these days. I don't know why they insist on. Well, I know you are, but it just kind of sucks.
Well, you're gonna give me that cutout on a lanyard hole, and you're not gonna put a lefty clip on it? You've already made it. You've already made it ugly. It's just like you can't make it worse.
To be fair,
that is kind of bullshit that they give this.
That's garbage. Let's be honest here. That's freaking garbage.
Now they did do a thug light sort of a finish to the blade. It is a horizontal sanding.
Really?
Application. Yeah. If you look at the blade here, it's not a traditional satin finish. I don't know if they're calling it a hand rub, but I don't think it's a hand rub, but it certainly is applied horizontally. Yeah. It does
interesting.
It does look a little bit more obvious in video, but you can see it in these photos here, especially this one.
Interesting.
It's 12C Sandvik, so I imagine you could polish that up to a mirror with just polishing paste with very little effort. Relatively speaking.
In about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Mr. Kenny, yeah.
The onion throwing knives, which calling this a knife is a bit of a stretch. It's just a spike. And look, they put the blood on it for you.
I was gonna ask.
So I don't think that just the blood makes it, like just the fake blood makes it illegal in the UK. I think it has to be green with the fake blood to make it illegal in the UK. Um, Honestly, this looks fucking stupid. Not the design of the knife.
The
but,
knife actually looks like it would probably throw pretty good.
Yeah, they look like nice throwing darts. They're fantastic. But
so there is one thing. If you look at the construction of it and what the material, the coating is, I'm pretty sure it says 2 different types of coating.
powder coat, comma, spray paint.
Yeah. So I imagine it's black powder coat with red spray paint on top.
Yeah.
Which means, in theory, you should be able to actually clean the paint off of it and leave it black.
That's a good point. Acetone, I guess, just a few minutes of your time wiping it down, assuming there's no acrylic sealer over top. Yeah. And okay, you know what? In the defense of the throwers, if you're to throw this thing and it goes into a bush somewhere, yeah, you'll probably spot the red dots a lot more quickly than you would just the black knife by itself. But I still think the flake bud spider looks a little fucking stupid.
I want a company to just commit and make Hunter Orange throwing knives and be done with it.
Hell yeah, why beat around the bush? Make them bright colors so I can find them suckers.
Because they want you to lose them, Joe.
So that you buy more.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's... Yeah, alright, fair enough.
Next knife.
Yeah. So we did the Rozelles, we did the Rozelle next. These aren't knives. The Chogan Mattock with sheath and the Chogan Mattock. Let's just look at the one with the sheath. Actually, you know what? I'll bring up the other one just to see the price point difference. 75 versus 83.
What was it you said earlier, Joe, about children in the mines?
The children. They yearn for the mines.
That explains the small size of these.
To be fair, the blade length is only 2.14 inches. Like, these are small little tools. Okay.
Almost sized for a child.
These guys... Yeah, exactly. It feels like every other day I remember realizing how large it was, thinking that, and just like, yeah, it's a little stupid. So 83 with the sheath, but there are some differences. I think they apply the powder coating a little bit differently. And they torch the handles, it looks like, for the version that comes with the sheath.
It is torched.
I do not believe these are CRKT exclusives, as they've gotten a little bit better about labeling it on the sales page.
Does anybody have...
No, everybody can have.
And everybody's kid.
A pickaxe, yeah.
Anybody have any idea why a pickaxe?
Okay, so I haven't actually read through this yet.
Hang on. I have one small theory. This product comes directly after... Oh, it doesn't. I was like, we looked at the resales. I was like, it comes directly after the blood spattered throwing knives. So, I mean, maybe they're just leading you down the Yellowbrook Road here. Blood spattered throwing knives, pickaxe. What's the next knife? An M4? Well, I know that one should have been dead a long time ago. So maybe it's actually, I really like the M4. I'm just being a smartass at this point.
Well, they call it a timeless tool, ready for new adventures. The trenches of World War One come from the trenches of World War One comes the Chogan Mattock, a tool purpose-built for portability, based on the common digging tool used by British infantry. Okay, so it's an entrenchment tool. Now, why, on God's green earth, they decided to...
Because shovels are overdone, Joe.
Anyone can make a shovel.
Now...
Gerber can make a shovel. Saab can make a shovel. Smith & Wesson, I'm pretty sure, has got to have a shovel in there. If they don't, get on it, man. Go make a shovel.
I'm not saying this tool wouldn't be useful to people. And it is cool that it's available, but it's so out of left field for me. It's just...
I want to see CRKT spin this as tactical for a SHOT Show next week.
Well, is this part of the Forged by War series? I mean, it is from RMJ Tactical, so it might be.
It's my breaching pickaxe.
Breaching Mattock, yeah. Perfect companion for overlanding and camping. No, they're not leaning into the tactical, but this one, it's a... I mean, they might throw in a phrase like, "Oh yeah, but this will go into a zombie skull really easily." They might throw something like that in, but yeah.
I just want to point out Ben is saying that it's the same handle as the tomahawk, which means in theory you can carry one handle, two heads, and have twice as much tool in the wood, which is kind of cool.
Twice as much fun. There you go.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm sure it's good at what it's built to do. I'm not trying to disparage that. I just think it's weird.
How long do you think it would take you to figure out how to throw it and stick it, Dennis?
I think you could probably do it pretty good. It's you have to put your target sideways so you can hit laterally, but
I was gonna say spike side or
if you did spike side, it'd probably be pretty quick. Yeah. Anyway, M4, big difference. White resin handle. Next knife. I'm powering through. It's almost 9 o'clock here.
Yeah, it's getting on there. Is that the only difference? Isn't this bigger than the old one?
I don't think so. I think they just went with white resin infused fiber like the Ritual.
Is that
we're gonna quarter inch?
Is that really the only difference?
I believe so. They ditched all the natural materials because that's for suckers and chumps, and they're just.
Oh my god! This is the same thing using outburst assist, which is not a coil spring or a bar spring in the handle. It's actually a leaf spring in where the bait spacer would normally be.
Yeah. They're just gonna burn the resin a little bit and make it yellow colored. It'll be fine.
It's collectible, you see, that way. Oh, and they're still using the old clip. Okay, yeah, next knife. But anyway, that's weird.
Pillar 4. Pillar 4.
Hey, look, a pillar the Dennis might actually be interested in because it's a Bowie blade.
I like it. I hope it's
better not for lefties.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's not because they're dicks.
Yeah.
I don't mind the blade shape, but I never really liked the whole opening D10T action on the Pillar 3. It was okay, but it was never great action.
It really lent itself well to reverse flicking with that size hole. It was great for that type of opening. This would probably be about the same.
The construction on the 3 was...
Well, it looks like they're just recycling the old handles, so, more or less.
That's my concern.
Yeah. But there's no HCR variant. You'll notice that this is the only version, and it's a D2.
So yeah, I don't mind it. It's a good-looking knife.
Yeah.
Anyway, next knife.
The spit. It's not the spew. It's the spit. It's an HCR Warney fixed blade neck knifey boy.
Reverse Tonto.
Inverted
I like the blade
Tonto.
profile.
Inverted Tonto. That's a phrase I don't think anyone's used yet. That's good.
Yeah, they can lay claim to that.
Oh, that's awful. I hope they don't. Okay, so... Well, no, they did here.
The orange glow.
Yeah. What's that?
Does the orange glow? Because it looks like it should.
It does not.
It is G10 and not plastic, though.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, G10, not plastic, HCR, sure. But for 44 American, that's not awful.
I will say that the third, if you actually... third cliff note. If you zoom in on that one, just the phrasing of it makes me want to go to the next knife.
The what? Oh, the 1, 2... Oh, the curve appeal?
Curve appeal on a knife makes me just want to go talk about another knife.
All right, next knife. Let's talk about both of these. The micro flipper. Both are 12C 27 Sandvik. Both have aluminum handles. The white handle one looks way nicer, which is unfortunate because I prefer the blade shape on the blue handle guy, which looks like a Malibu.
But the one thing I'll say is that the blue on the silver handled one, the blue pivot color and the blah, 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 looks like it's like the Rook 801 blue painted, not really a very good blue anodizing.
Yeah. The blue that's going to come off.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me huge confidence in the bluey blue, at least the blue.
It might be paint. Look at the way it's blue in the bottom of that screw. It looks like a drip.
Yeah, what did they say here? Do they mention anything?
Did they use layout fluid?
Blue Dicom on the fucking microflipper liners and hardware? Jesus. I mean, that would be amazing, but also awful.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Well, we'll see if Blue Dicom sponsors the SHOT Show Awards this year. That'll tell us.
There you go.
Anyway, yeah, Richard Rogers design, just like the rest of the CEO stuff.
1227 this time.
Yeah.
So
and 2.36 inch blade. This is really small. Like this is smaller than the compact CEO.
By just a little.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a skosh.
I will say though, I do like the fact, obviously the CEO is something that's selling well for CRKT. So they're just like different models. They're going to do the bug out thing and they're going to burn it out eventually, but ride that train while you can.
They're running with it for sure.
Yeah. Now stop making exclusives that are the good steel. Give those to us.
Next knife.
Next knife. But for the record, I agree. The Igniter. This isn't a new knife. What the fuck?
No,
the Igniter's...
and the next one too.
Yeah. So I kind of don't hate the blue and the black with the flipper tab, but guys, this is not a new knife. You had an outburst assist version for a long time. I really hate that this means that they went for their new assist style, but I don't know.
Well, they went flipper, right? Instead of outburst.
So they had to. Right? But, you know, they could have gone for a harsher detent. They could have gone with non-assisted, because a non-assisted Igniter would have been cool as shit, because that hasn't existed before. Instead, we get this thing
igniting.
You know what? Just for that, next knife.
Yeah, no doubt. Anyway, the Dextro.
The Dextro. Okay, so this one, I actually just wrote off immediately as being like, it looks like a knife. My cat's messing with everything, so here she is. I don't know if Fiska's in chat, but here's Kitty. She's done sleeping, so now she's messing with all my stuff. The Dextro, it's D2. Is that aluminum for the handles, or is it G10?
It is aluminum.
Okay.
I like the green pivot collar. That's cute.
Yeah, the green is a nice color. And 64 American for this thing. It's a 3.18 inch blade. Deep carry pocket clip. Is it lefty compatible? Probably not. No, it isn't.
No, they hate us.
It is not assisted. This is a nice looking knife.
It kind of reminds me, not in profile or shape at all, but like the Caligo from CRKT.
Well, that's funny because
the knife with just a pivot color, flash of color.
It's designed by the same guy who designed the Caligo, I believe.
This looks identical to the Covalent that we were looking at from Kershaw. Big fat drop point, flipper tab.
Really? Fair enough.
Yeah. Go to the Covalent on Kershaw and you will see. But meanwhile, pillar large, is it just an 8CR?
Probably. I'm at the Covalent now, though, so I'm going to look at that quick. The handle is significantly different. The blades are pretty similar.
Right. Little bit different.
Yeah.
I just want more people to see each other.
It's a triangular pivot. This one's a round pivot.
Yeah.
They're different.
Yeah, so the pillar large, they went back to 8CR for some fucking reason. They were originally making the pillar large as the pillar 2 with G2. I don't know if they made an 8CR version previously. Why? I don't know. They have a bunch of 8CR they need to burn up. It's $40 though.
Who else thinks they fucked up by not calling it the pill large?
Oh, we've talked about that before, but I agree.
Yeah. And yeah, this one's 8CR. They did 2 versions. They did an 8CR pill large as well as a D2 pill large.
So then how the hell is this new?
Because this is a blacked out.
The blacked out one was the D2 one before, I think, and the silver one was 8CR.
I believe something like that. Yeah.
It's
so
different.
Anyway, next pickaxe. I mean,
the DDR Dance Revolution.
Isn't that ODR?
Nah, it looks like a D.
You look like a D.
Thank you. But like, I'm not crazy.
That's ODR.
Oh no! I know it's ODR. I'm just being
it's
an
odor.
asshole. It just reads like it's DDR. But yeah, no, there's a little what's that called? Kerning? Anyway. There's your ODR. Your multi-tool in an
Thank
axe
you, Mr. Elmer.
sent from the gods. It doesn't look half bad, to be honest. That's a pretty long spike. Obvious comparison would be the Trailhawk, the Spike Hawk from Cold Steel.
Correct.
This is like the bearded hawk, and the spike hawk had a baby though.
Yeah. And for 75 American, it's bad.
I think it's a square pick too, which is kind of intriguing to me.
I don't know if they have any good close-ups here, but I'll see. Yeah, you can kind of tell that it's faceted here.
Yeah. I feel like if you were like, trying to get a knight out of his tin can armor, it would help pierce the armor better.
That comes up in a day-to-day environment. You never know.
You need your knight killing.
Sometimes knights need to be overthrown.
Knights don't overthrow nothing.
No, they're gonna get
need
overthrown.
to be overthrown.
Oh.
For not being.
I think you're giving knights too much authority.
You could also get an ODR sheath for $25 American. It's actually leather. And to be fair,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, to be fair, the quality of the CRKT sheets in the past haven't been bad. They've been at the very least acceptable. So
I'll give you that. Yeah.
So
for what
30,
you can.
Yeah, I mean 30 American is pretty doable. I don't think that's too bad.
It looks a lot like a Chogan sheath, but with the spike dangle.
Interestingly, that spike might actually dangle because they've only got the one rivet there, so it might articulate a little bit. So that should make sheathing and unsheathing a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad touch.
Williams pens.
Yeah.
Next pen.
So, yeah, exactly. So these guys, the major change they made between this and the previous Williams Defense pens, I believe is the only change, is that they moved away from aluminum to Grivery. They also reduced the price. $40 for these guys. And I want to say the other guys were like $80 last time.
75, something like that. 70.
I'm just gonna look up pen. Oh, I forgot their search is busted as hell. I like how you have to click this search bar and then wait for another search bar to come up over top, because if you use the first one, nothing happens. And this was supposed to be a super quick thing. Okay, so $60 for these guys. So a bit cheaper than I thought, but these ones are aluminum, and these ones are not aluminum. These are Grivery.
We were being asked in chat what a defense pen is. I think if you show a picture with the cap on the pen side,
it's for smacking people.
Striking, tool, self-defensive.
Yeah.
Kubotan kind of thing, but a pen.
So there's this idea of a force multiplier. Essentially, the same force with a smaller surface area of contact is going to cause more discomfort damage. It's why hammers work the way they do. It's why swords work the way they do. And in the case of pens, I don't know about being mightier than a sword, but hey, for $40, it's not the worst thing you can spend your money on.
Jab.
Yeah. I will say, Grivery pen.
That's jump,
honestly,
for the record. But anyway,
honestly, a Grivery pen, I'm kind of interested. Having a lightweight pen that's very durable, but not going to be super cold in your hand if you're writing in traditions, for instance. It's not the worst thing in the world. So I am interested.
And yes, straight up, most of us are not John Wick. But having a tough pen is good.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, the tough pen that I carry routinely is going to be a frickin' face... well, Dennis has one too as well, little Fisher Space pen. So, I mean, this thing's already pretty durable. It's just not that
Don't
long.
tell me what I have in my wallet.
I'm guessing.
I do, but anyway.
Okay.
All right. We got anything else? We talked about the minimalist last week.
Did we?
I think so.
We did. Just a very brief recap then. this is really close to it. Well, okay, really close outside of heat treatment. Materials wise, this is very close to a custom you can get from Allen Holtz. 154 cm, relatively thin blade stock, 2.76 mil is what they're giving here. For 100 American, you get micarta handles, 154, a leather belt sheath, which is fucking weird. This knife design really needs to be in a kydex or in a neck sheath or something, but not a belt sheath. This is way too small.
Yeah.
Like, okay, a horizontal sheath, maybe, but come on.
I definitely remember us bitching about that.
Okay, fair enough. Interesting, but next knife is the Pillar 3 Jade. What happened? Oh no, they're selling like Blade HQ exclusives here. Nope, it's in D2. It's just a Pillar 3 with Jade handles. That's about it. There's nothing really else to say here.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
That's got to wrap us up. We're after 9 here. It's definitely a later stream than we normally have. Yeah.
I need to eat dinner.
That's fair. There are some other guys here, but we talked about the squid too before. So
we got all of these. They've covered. Yeah.
One very brief thing before we wrap up for the evening. The Ritual Black. Did we talk about it being 14C Sandvik instead of the 12C?
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember whether we touched on that or not.
Couple weeks ago now, but yes, we did.
So congrats CRKT for having some variety. Full shit.
It's got some things. Be curious what everyone else releases next week, but got a little preview from a couple companies, so figured we'd do a show and tell.
So interesting to me that the 2 knives that I want right now are both neck knives.
Yeah.
And not breaking the bank either.
We know one's the Razor Compact. What's the other one? Or
the pillar.
Yeah, the pillar.
No, sorry, excuse me, the minimalist.
Oh, okay. I was like, how are you neck knifing that? Like, I had memories of the old school, the police, like the stainless steel police and a kydex sheath that people would wear on their necks. Like,
just like that. Just like that.
Such a bad idea.
I'm gonna put a zip tie through the opening hole so it catches on the kydex on the open.
Oh, 100%.
Why wouldn't you?
This is how I have to look at YouTube comments right now. Pharaoh Slash is asking, next live, can you all talk about Ontario Knife Company or Tops? Yeah, I'm sure we can touch on those.
We did talk about Ontario a couple weeks back. We did talk about them last week briefly because they are offering some MagnaCut. I'm a big fan of Top stuff. Hopefully next week. SHOT Show's coming out. There'll be some highs and lows. I featured Tops last year as some highs. I'm sure we'll probably do something similar again next week and the week after. And hopefully not a part 3, and we'll actually wrap some shit up instead of rambling.
Maybe.
We won't. All right.
Wax poetic.
Thanks everyone for coming out. Thank you to everyone who subscribes to Patreon. We do have a thank you coming your way eventually. Everything that you have subscribed to us or donated to us is just going to go back as a thank you. So, thanks again to everyone there.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Christmas
thank you
2023.
Yeah, we're working on it. Thanks to y'all people that keep following me on Instagram, or us on Instagram, I should say. I'm still baffled by it, but I'm into it. So thank you. I should say. Baffled by it, but
we're getting that back.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Baffled by it, but I'm into it.
That's coming from you, Paul, I think.
It can't possibly be, but I have no volume on anything but what I'm talking to you through.
From Denison, maybe.
Sorry, yeah, that was my bad. Something weird with my speaker.
Weird. Oh well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrons. Thank you, Instagrams. Thank you, Cutting Edge. I think we thanked everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, and sorry again for dropping midstream, and thanks for coming back. Try to make sure I don't drop a cramp on my computer next week.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
God, Joe. Keep your karambits to yourself, man.
Karambits.
Good night, everybody.
We will see you all again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Thanks for joining us. On that note, signing off. I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I'm the Iron Joe.
And I'm XL.ca.
Thanks again, guys, for putting up with us. We'll see you next week.
Stop the cram bit.